Hi everyone, I'm Bonnie from Make Time to Craft. I hope you're loving the new 3D pop-up dies from Cheery Lynn Designs as much as I am. This video will explain how to fold the two-step pop-up die elements. In this release there were 3 dies which I think fit into the category of a two-step pop-up. The first one is this fun table and chairs pop-up. The pop-up die is just the table and the 2 chairs. The window and the tree were separate dies that I added to create the scene of a room with a table and chairs looking out a window. I also added the design paper to look like a floor. Then there's the happy birthday, which if you turn it to the side, you can see what I mean about the two-step pop-up. The birthday comes up one step, and then happy is another step. And lastly, there is the best wishes, which is really the same as the birthday, 1 step and 2 steps. This is the one that I'm going to demonstrate today, but they're all assembled with the same basic idea. So you're going to take your die, and if you look closely at these dies, you'll notice that not only are there cutting lines for the letters, but when you're running it through your die cutting machine, it will also be impressing the score lines onto the paper, and so it shows you exactly where the folds need to be made to create the pop-up. On the back of all these dies, if I can get it to show, if I can get the right angle, there is a notch. There's one side and a notch on the other side. These notches are what you're going to line up with the center of your paper in order to get the die cut in the correct place. So I'm starting with a half sheet of cardstock, and I've actually trimmed it down to 8 1/4 by 5 1/4 because I like to have that 1/8 inch border around the edge when I adhere it to my card backing. So I'm going to take a pencil and make a light line across the middle so I know where to line up my notches so that I'm exactly in the middle of my card. So I'm going to line the notches up on either side with my little pencil mark, and I then take some repositionable tape and tape it down so that it will not move when I am die cutting it. So at this point we're going to send it through the die cutting machine, and you will end up with this. And I don't know if it's going to show up on the video, but yes, there are little score lines on the tops and bottoms of all the letters which show you where the folds will be done. At this point you have to decide whether you want to leave your words white, which is fine, or if you want to add color to them. If you're going to add color, now is the time to do it. And I have one that I've already added some color to. I will link to a video in the upper corner. I have a separate video that explains how I've added the color to my card. So once you have it all colored and you're ready to start folding, I'm going to take my score board if you have one. If not, you can just use a ruler and a bone folder, whatever you usually score your centers with. I left just a little bit of my pencil mark. I erased most of it, but I left just a little pencil mark so it would be easy to find the center again. And I'm going to score from the outer edge of the card just to where the letter starts. And on the other side, the same thing, from the edge of the card to the beginning of the letters. That will be the center fold for the card. You're not going to score into the letters at all, just from the edge to where the letters begin. And then set my scoreboard aside. So there's all the folds will be either valley folds or mountain folds. So I typically start on the bottom, and the bottom is going to be a valley fold. And I'm just going to start, you're not going to make any final folds right away. I'm really just coaxing it into, to start heading in the direction that I want it to. It works much easier if you slowly work it into the position that you want. So also the score that we just made, the center of the card is also going to be a valley fold. So you can just lightly start guiding that towards a valley fold. The top of the word is going to be a mountain fold. And I will tell you that it's much harder to do this when you're trying to stay in the video camera frame. It's going to be easier when you do it because you'll be able to move it all over the place. I'm going to try to stay in the frame. And we're just going to slowly let this know that we want it to be a mountain fold. And there's also tools, I mean, whatever you normally would use, this is a great tool. I really like it. And even something like this, which, believe it or not, is a pot scraper, but it's thin with a nice edge, and that helps to guide your folds as well. So whatever tool you have handy that would be helpful, go ahead and use it. The bottom, again, will be a valley fold. Just the bottom of the letters. So you could use your tools or just your fingers and start guiding that into place. Now you'll notice there's another score that's just above the bottom of the letters. This too is going to be a valley fold, but you want to keep the valley fold just between those 2 points, if you can. The best you can. It will work. Now the very tops of the letters are going to be a mountain fold again, which you might be better off doing from the back. And then the very top is going to be a valley fold. So we've got everything started and headed in the right direction, and now we just have to go back and slowly work it a little further into the direction that we want it to be in. It really just takes a little work and some patience, and it will end up exactly the way you want it to be. So really I'm just pinching and coaxing it into the direction I want it to end up in. The two-step pop-ups take a little more work than the single step, but they're also worth it at the end because they really have a wow factor. Once I get them pretty much where I want them, I start working on lining up the bottom of the card too. And often when you do that and you start pushing from the bottom word on your way up, it all starts to fall into place. And sometimes you can, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm pushing the top words up so that fold goes up in there. And I think we've just about got it now. And once it seems to all be laying the way you want, just start to reinforce your folds with your bone folder, either a bone folder, whichever, any of these tools will work. You're just really burnishing those folds down. And once you open, there you have your finished piece. And then you're just going to cut your backing and you're going to glue all around the outside of this, either tape, wet glue, whatever you normally adhere things to your card backing with, and glue it in, and you have your finished piece. I would say that it's best to do a few practice runs first, just till you get a feel for it. But with very little practice, you're going to find it's no trouble to make these double step pop-up cards. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and if you haven't viewed the other videos for the different types of pop-up cards, please head over to my YouTube channel for that. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and a comment below. If you have any questions, I'll help you in any way I can. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel before you go so you'll be notified when I add new videos. Happy crafting!